Hi, my name is Barbara, and I'm a friend of the Cabildo tour guide. Welcome back to another New Orleans cultural tidbit. Now, New Orleans throughout its history has been through some really tough times. And in times of adversity, many people turn to prayer. New Orleanians in particular might turn to the Blessed Mother. Now, there are many titles for the Blessed Mother. We call her the Queen of Peace, the Queen of Heaven, Lady of Guadalupe, but there's one devotional title that means the most to New Orleanians, and that is Our Lady of Prompt Succor. Because New Orleans was a French colony and later on a Spanish colony, both of which were Roman Catholic monarchies, New Orleans history is rooted in Catholicism. And to tell the story of Our Lady of Prompt Succor, we first have to start with the Ursuline nuns. The Ursuline nuns came to New Orleans in 1727 at the request of Governor Bienville, primarily to do two things. One was to set up a military hospital, and the other was to set up a school for young girls in this new colony. Now, the nuns' philosophy was that everyone was deserving of an education, regardless of race or social status. So they invited all young girls into their school. Enslaved individuals and free people of color and Native Americans. They brought them all in. Now, at one point in time, though, the school was experiencing a shortage of teachers. So the head nun, Mother St. Andre, sent word to her cousin, Sister Michelle, who was an Ursuline nun in France, to come on over and help. Now, Sister Michelle first had to get permission from the Pope. She sent a letter to Pope Pius VII, but she seriously doubted that the letter would ever reach him because he happened to be in prison at the time underneath Napoleon Bonaparte. But nonetheless, she wrote the letter, she sent it, and then she went into her chapel and she prayed before a statue of the Blessed Mother. Oh, dear Mary, please, if you grant me a prompt and favorable response to my letter, I promise to have you honored under the title of Our Lady of Prompt Succor in the city of New Orleans. And prompt succor means quick help, so you would pray to Our Lady of Prompt Succor if you need something in a hurry. Well, she got the answer to her letter in a hurry, and it was favorable. So she's headed on over to New Orleans, but before doing so, she heads out to get a statue commissioned to honor Our Lady of Prompt Succor. And the statue depicts Mary holding the baby Jesus, and she's wearing flowing gowns and robes, so it gives the impression that she's moving along very rapidly. And she gathers up that statue along with a handful of nuns, and she heads on over to New Orleans, and that was in December of 1810. And ever since then, New Orleanians have turned to Our Lady of Prompt Succor when they need something in a hurry or in periods of strife. Many miracles have been attributed to Our Lady of Prompt Succor. But there's one in particular that was of particular importance within the historical background of New Orleans and Louisiana, and that was during the War of 1812. The U.S. declared war on Britain in 1812, just a few short months after Louisiana had been admitted into the Union as its 18th state. In December of 1814, the British were coming up from the Gulf of Mexico trying to overtake the city of New Orleans. And General Andrew Jackson was sent down here to hurriedly put together an army and fend off the British forces about 5 miles downriver in the city of Chalmette. Now, Andrew Jackson's troops, they were small, they were a ragtag army, ill-prepared, ill-equipped. And they go down there and they meet up with a much larger, much more prepared, much better equipped British army. But nonetheless, they went down there. On the eve of the decisive Battle of New Orleans, which was January 7th, 1815, the nuns gathered together in their chapel, along with some other city residents, and they prayed throughout the night to Our Lady of Prompt Succor for an American victory. A mass was being said the following morning, and right at the time of communion, a courier comes rushing up the aisle, announcing American victory. Now, Andrew Jackson later on said that had it not been for the aid of the Almighty, he doubted that he would have had a successful outcome to that battle, and he personally went down to the Ursuline convent to thank the nuns for their night of prayer. Now, the Ursuline nuns that evening, they had done a little bit of negotiating of their own, and they vowed to Our Lady of Prompt Succor that if the Americans should win that battle, that they would say a Mass of Thanksgiving yearly in honor of Our Lady of Prompt Succor. And they've held up to that vow. Even today, every year on January 8th, which is the anniversary date of the Battle of New Orleans and the feast day of Our Lady of Prompt Succor, an anniversary Mass is said by the Archbishop of New Orleans. And what happened to that statue? Well, that statue now resides in the National Shrine of Our Lady of Prompt Succor, which is on the campus of Ursuline Academy in uptown New Orleans. So yes, the Ursulines are still here. The school is still here, operating for 293 years. That makes it the oldest Catholic school in the United States, and it's the oldest continuously run all-girls school in the United States. In 1928, Pope Pius XI officially named Our Lady of Prompt Succor to be the patroness of the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. So people turn to Our Lady of Prompt Succor during times of strife and challenge. Every June, when a hurricane season starts, people will pray to Our Lady of Prompt Succor for a very safe and uneventful hurricane season. After Hurricane Katrina, many people turned to Our Lady of Prompt Succor in hopes of a quick recovery to the city and the surrounding areas. So Our Lady of Prompt Succor, she's got a pretty good track record around here. So maybe, just maybe, she might come through for us during this, our latest challenge.